All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. And what I want to get into, all right, this morning, is dealing with, we have everything to look forward to, and as we, get deeper into this understanding, what we're a part of, as we understand the promises, all right, and what's to come, after the destruction of this current age, this is it's going to start a new beginning, okay, for Israel, beginning with the elect, all right, because as we learn, as we awaken to who we are as a people, we awaken, to certain promises made to our forefathers, all right, that the Lord is getting ready to fulfill and establish in the earth today, you know, and we have, everything to look forward to, man. So much so that we can't even, comprehend, the goodness that the Lord has, all right, for his people, man, beginning with his elect or remnant, and the Lord has, us doing what the remnant will be doing, teaching his word, believing his word, sacrificing, for this truth, you know, amongst the body, becoming more and more brotherly, becoming conformed to Yahweh Shai. So there's a good chance that we could be a part of that remnant. Okay? Now let's go here to the book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 1. It says, since you have been raised to new life with Hamashiach, set your sights on realities of heaven where Yahweh Shai sits in the place of honor at the Most High's right hand. Okay? So we have to understand the realities, of the promises that's coming from the heavens. Yahweh Shai is coming from the heavens, all right, the spiritual realm where the Most High resides, the angels. Okay, he's coming from, the heavens, okay, to establish, uh, the promises in the earth. We're going to be changed, we're going to be immortals, all right, we're going to be perfect according to the law, okay, we have spiritual powers, it's another level of wisdom we're going to be opened up to, okay, the planet Earth is going to, is going to go back to paradise, okay, the way that the Lord intended it from the beginning, you know, we're going to get to enjoy family, okay, we're going to get to, enjoy, the earth, man, and in this fullness, man. You see, right now we're being deprived of so much, okay, under the rulership of Esau Edom, we're being deprived of so much, man. Because Esau Edom is in the way of life. Okay, him and his wicked agenda, what he's trying to do, what he try, how he rules, and what he's trying to do next, man, is all anti-life, man. But Yahweh Shai has promised, abundance. Okay, so we got abundance to look forward to forever, man. You see, that's why we're not missing nothing right now. There's nothing to miss. Okay, I asked the question, what could we miss on this side? You see, Colossians 3 and 2, it says, think about the things of heaven, not the things of earth. Yeah, because this current world, this current age, the things that's happening on this earth, man, is all folly. It's all vanity, and it's all anti-Messiah. The Lord is coming to bring, all right, a new reality, a new existence. Okay, we finna exist on a whole different level. Okay, in this earth, man, we're slaves. Okay, everything is tainted. We're slaves in the tainted society where everything works against us, man. Everything, is loaded, okay, with sin, wickedness, and rebellion. Okay, the people are vain, tainted. You see, everything that we have access to has been tainted on this side, man. We're finna go back to pure living, where things are pure, things are going to be as they were intended to be, man. All right, because creation can't even function properly under this devil Esau because he's tainted and interfered, and disrupted everything, man. You know? So it says, verse 3, it says, for you died to this life, all right? And your real life is hidden with Yahweh Shai in the Most High. Yeah, so our real life doesn't begin until Yahweh Shai returns, man. You know, and we get a glimpse, you know, as we live for Yahweh Shai. You know, as we die in this world and begin to live for Yahweh Shai, man, we begin to become, you know, what we was intended to be. You know, that's why there's no feeling like becoming, you know, what Yahweh Bashim Shai intends us to be. There's no feeling that matches that, man. You know, so brothers, hey, we're becoming. You know, we when we wake up, you know, we're becoming more, you know, like, you know, Yahweh Bashim Shai. You know, we're becoming more like Yahweh Shai, which is pleasing to the Father, man. You know, and we follow Yahweh Shai. We stay the course in this ministry, man. You know, that makes us pleasing to our power. You know, it makes us pleasing to Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's the Israelite man. That's the only thing we should be worried about pleasing, man. Yahweh Bashim Shai. You know, that's our focal point when it comes to pleasing. Okay, when it comes to expectations, we should be obsessed with achieving. Okay, and the expectations of Yahweh Shai, man. You know, which he told us, you know, to love the Lord with all our power, mind, and strength, to love our neighbors, ourselves, and to feed his sheep. Okay? He gave us marching orders, man. And when we tap into, you know, the marching orders left by Yahweh Shai, man, we start to become likened unto Yahweh Shai. You know, all the way until our Baratazah we endure, we're going to be changed, man. You know? So the number one task for us, you know, as Israelite men, is to become likened unto Yahweh Shai, man. You know? And you women submit under that order of those men. You see? The Lord didn't give us no you know, no calculus, okay, or rocket scientist, you know, equation to try to figure out. Nah, man, just be what we was intended to be. Okay, the sons of God, Yahweh Shai left the example how we should be. You know, that's our life now. You know, becoming like Yahweh Shai. You know, thinking, you know, decision making, expectations. Okay, it's all rooted in Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, so let's go back here. It says, and when, verse 4, and when Yahweh Shai, who is your life, okay, is revealed to the whole world, you will share in all his glory. Yeah, so when Yahweh Shai appears in this realm, there's going to be an elect that's going to be changed at his coming. You know, we're going to be changed at his coming, man. We're going to partake, okay, in the glory of Yahweh Shai, man. You know, being those extraterrestrial beings, okay? They're going to be changed. The scripture say when we see him, we should be like we should be like unto him. You know, and we have that to look forward to, man. Think about it. We have becoming an immortal to look forward to, man. You know, death over victory. I mean, victory over death, man. Okay, we have that to look forward to, man. And there's so many perks that come with being an Israelite, but it's a lot of responsibility as well. You know, and the Lord is putting emphasis on responsibility in this grace period. You know, because you have to rehearse, all right, to enjoy the perks, man. That's going to be like, you know, it's going to be natural, okay? But what the Lord is making sure we understand the concept of the responsibility, okay, of being rulers, man. Okay, so let's go here. Let's get a couple more. Let's get the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8. All right. 2nd Ezra 8 and 51. It says, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. You know? So as we come into this understanding, okay, and we gather this understanding for ourselves, you know, then we begin to teach those of the same mindset. You know, we're not here to waste time with people that don't get it. You know, we teach this word, like scripture say, we're, you know, it's like we're sowing seed, you know, and if that seed take, well, that's up to the Most High, you know, and if seed taken, someone begins to grow, they break ground, they begin to grow and blossom out in this thing. Well, that's what we're here for. That's the garden. The elect is like the garden of Yahushua. You see? So as we cast seed, you know, and the elect will begin to what? They will begin to grow and blossom. All right? Because one thing about it is evident, somebody grows or blossoms. You see? There's an evidence when you see that, of somebody growing, because if you cast seed and this seed doesn't break ground, well, it's evident that it didn't break ground. Well, that's how it is teaching this word, man. As we cast this seed, if it don't take, it ain't gonna break ground. It's not gonna be obvious. Okay? Well, if it break ground and begin to grow and blossom in this thing, well, it's obvious. Like, okay, this seed took, and that's what we're here to cultivate, man. Because think about it, it's impossible to cultivate something that doesn't break ground. There's nothing to cultivate. It'll be a waste of time. Okay? To continue trying to water something, and, that ain't broke ground. Nah. The Lord has it with the elect, hear this word and they begin to spring up. So it's obvious, man. And that's who we're tasked and assigned to continue to cultivate in this ministry, man. It said, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise open. The tree of life is planted. You see, paradise is going to be open, man. Earth is going to go back to paradise, man. Okay? No more grocery store. No, the earth is going to be a grocery store. Okay? No more liquor store. No, the earth is going to be a liquor store. Okay? No more clubs. No, you're going to have pure women. Okay? That exist to forward your legacy as a man. Okay? They're going to be obsessed. All right? They're going to be in love with their role as women. Okay? All our people going to be straight, man. All brothers going to be kings and priests. You see? Brothers are going to become great houses, man. So there's a lot, okay, to look forward to. There's a lot that the Lord has in store for his people, man. 2nd Ezra 8 and 52 said, for unto you paradise is open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteous is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom. Yeah, it says plenteous is made ready, man. Abundance, man. Rest is allowed. We live in a society where rest is not allowed, man. This society keep you on go mode, man. This society, in this society, you're just a battery for Esau's machine. People are just batteries, man. Okay? And he runs people to the ground. Physically, mentally, spiritually. Okay? Any way you can think of, man. People are burning out, crashing out. Anxiety is the norm, man. This ain't it, man. Nah, man, we're gonna be in the kingdom. We're coming into our rest, man. Where we can just be. You see? And it says, with plenteous, man, no more, all right, having to try to balance a bank account. You see? You're always doing, math in your head. You see, man, that's not living, man. We just gonna be. We just gonna have abundance. Okay? And it says a city is built and rest allowed. Yeah. Perfect goodness and wisdom, man, because we're gonna have, wisdom. We're gonna be perfected. In the kingdom, we're gonna be perfected, man. Like we're gonna be perfect. Okay, we're gonna be that finished product that the Lord always intended us to be. You see? So we got great things to look forward to, man. And we're gonna be perfect for those positions of rulership in Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man. We're gonna be perfectly, all right, we're gonna be perfectly compatible with Yahweh Shah joint heirs, man, to rule. We're gonna be equipped with everything we need, the wisdom, the understanding on a whole another level to rule with Yahweh Shah forever. It said the root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness and mouth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten, man. You know, and the root of evil, which is Esau, he's going to be sealed off in captivity, and then eventually he's going to be done away with as a nation, man. You know, beautiful times, man, beautiful times, nothing but beautiful times ahead. You see, so that's the point. I'll leave it there. You know, Lord will. You know, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. Give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully. Shalom.